Cannabis in Illinois is a billion-dollar industry, and that potential federal-level change, reclassifying cannabis from a Schedule I drug on par with heroin and fentanyl to a Schedule III controlled substance, is cause for celebration in the cannabis community. Dominique White says it's the joy of progress.
I think it's fantastic, a huge day in cannabis, a huge win for us, especially to help destigmatize the plant.
She's the People and Operations Director at Ivy Hall, the first social equity licensed dispensary in the state, and says the potential for cannabis to become a Level 3 controlled substance on par with Tylenol with codeine is much needed reform.
It's a big win, and it's a historical day in cannabis, a step closer to getting federally legalized.
But dispensary operators say the biggest win, if this goes through, would be the tax implications, allowing them and other cannabis businesses to finally deduct business expenses.
It will likely be the difference between being profitable and not.
Matthew Brewer, co-founder of Grasshopper Lounge in Logan Square, says that could tip the scales and level the playing field to allow for more business growth and investment.
Every business, when it's first getting off the ground, has its ramp to becoming profitable. It's a way steeper ramp when you're not able to deduct business expenses.
A lot of the promise of the industry was based on there being federal reform. And to a certain extent, it's taking longer than most of the early investors would wanted to see it take.
Chicago-based Cresco Labs CEO Charlie Bachtel says if cannabis is changed to a Level 3 drug, it could mean millions more for operators and more competition.
We paid an additional $70 to $80 million last year in taxes than a normal business in a normal industry would have paid, right? And so again, you can't outgrow that.
Another aspect for a Schedule III drug, potential for large-scale, in-depth pharmaceutical study.
I think there is a huge untapped therapeutic benefit of THC and CBD that we have not explored because it's just been too prohibitive.
And that is not to say that cannabis is completely benign. The clinical pharmacist you just saw told me about 10% of people can develop a use disorder. And of course, there are legal and legislative hurdles to traverse before any rule change would be put into place. But a lot of the advocates that I talked to said that they hope this is a step for full federal legalization.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.